Hey everyone, and welcome to the Craft Room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. I'm pre-recording this video today in my normal live Saturday morning spot because we have an election here in Tasmania, and I'm headed up to my local polling booth at about 10 o'clock with my son to have hopefully my husband, to have our traditional family vote and democracy sausage. Now, if you're in Australia, you probably know what the democracy sausage is. If you're outside Australia, then I'll briefly explain. You roll up to a polling booth, you do your vote, and then you buy a charity sausage in bread to cap it all off and celebrate democracy. So that's what we're up there hopefully do. You've got to go fairly early because the democracy sausages run out. So anyway, the next few weeks I'm going to smatter in some of our retiring products. We've got a new annual catalogue coming out in May, so obviously some stuff from the old catalogue will retire. I've got quite a few favourites that will be retiring, and whether I sell them or keep them, I'm still this jewellery's still out, but I'll definitely be keeping my Biggest Wish, which will retire. And I'm thinking I might keep my Apple Harvest as well because I do have the dies to go with it, but so it's retiring also. So we might pop through a couple of cards. Also, you're going to briefly see the Season of Chic, which is also retiring, and I think that's definitely on the keep list. This has been one of my favourite bundles over the last couple of years. Anyway, so let's get started. Going to use the Apple Harvest and the Biggest Wish in the first card. Basically what I've got is, if I've got it, my trimmer and a card front. I'm just going to make the card fronts for these. Obviously I would then set them onto a card. It's just that at this stage I'm just going to make them as card fronts, just to save a bit of cardstock. I'm running out of basic white thick at the moment, so I need to save that for classes, etc. Okay, so card front here, basic white, nothing too strenuous about that. I do have my Smoky Slate ink pad, and I'm going to grab the Thanks. Nice big blocky Thanks out of the Biggest Wish. Excellent stamp set here. We've got the big blocky Thanks, Birthday, Happy, Hello and Friend. And then you've got these really cool little cursive versions of the same words as well. So you pair them up with each other. You can say thanks, friend. Sort of have a big blocky one and then a cursive one as well. Or happy birthday, something like that, which, as you'll see in our second card, I'm going to use the happy birthday combo. But anyway, we're just going to say thanks in this one. I'm going to grab my Smoky Slate, and I just want the thanks as a sort of little background down the centre of this card. So I'm going to actually stamp off the Smoky Slate, I think 3 times. So I'm just going to use my glass mat, best thing out, and I'll see whether that gives me what I want. I'm going to start in the middle and work up and down. I found that a lot easier. Yeah, so that's really, really pale. You can see that. I only just see it, but that's what I'm after. Oh, there's a fly in my craft room. Dear me, not flies in autumn. I'm going to do thanks on the way down. Part 1 there. And way up as well. So that's just a sort of background thanks. It's not too hard to line those up, even though I've got that one slightly out of kilter, but it's fine. It doesn't look too bad. Not too bad to line them up because it is a photopolymer stamp, so you can see right through it. So that's our thanks. So that's what I'm using the Biggest Wishes for in this one. So I'm going to swap over. First of all, I'm going to get rid of that ink there, or I'm going to have ink transfer. The glass mat is awesome for stamping off, as you just saw, but do need to tidy it up between stamps or it just gets everywhere. So it saves paper for stamping off, but then you also use a wipe to wipe it off. swings and roundabouts. Okay, so I'm going to use the apple blossom. I'm going to use this lovely big large stamp here. Just going to stamp it on white, scrap of white cardstock, which I hopefully have got here. Sort of decided to do this live video at the last minute because my son said he could be here for our democracy sausage about 10 o'clock, which I thought, hang on, that's when I've scheduled my live. So anyway, I had to jiggle things a wee bit. Anyway, so this is the big stamp from the apple harvest. And that's just gorgeous. You can spend some lovely time fussy colouring that in, which we're not going to colour that when, we're actually going to fussy cut it. So I probably should have done that before, but it's a nice little, fairly easy stamp to fussy cut. I do, as I mentioned, I do have the dies. They briefly, as a sort of a taster, I suppose, a bit of a tease, they briefly bought the dies out for this stamp set, which I should probably use to save us some time. But since they're no longer available, it would be too unfair of me, I think. And I'd have to find them. I don't know where they are. But anyway, as you can see, not very hard to fussy cut. There's no fiddly bits as such. Just nice, smooth, curvy leaves. And round apples. Now I have seen this one coloured different colours. Make the apples green, for obviously little green apples. You can make the apples, I've seen people make them into like oranges by making them orange. You know, whatever fruit, as long as it's round and fruity shaped, you can adapt it. I think I'm using, which doesn't help, I think I'm using, I think I've picked up a scrap of, what's the word, thick. After saying I'm trying to save it, I think I've picked up a strip of thick white cardstock because it's a little bit harder to fussy cut. Anyway, nearly done. As you can see, not much to it really to fussy cut. Tip for fussy cutting, and I think I've mentioned this before, when I fussy cut, I always move the paper and leave the scissors fairly much steady. I just find that a lot more accurate and easier on the hands as well. Okay. Last little bit. There we go. So that's our little bunch of apples there. Just going to pop that. That's just going to go straight over the top of our little line of thank yous. And I am going to stamp another apple from the stamp set. That's this little single one here. And 3 of the little flowers as well. I have to say up front that I did get inspiration for this card from Metasu Crafts. I was searching through the Pinterest, as I usually do, to find a card that combined a few retiring items. I found this one of Jay's, so I thought it's perfect. It's everything I wanted to show you guys today. And at the moment, I'm pretty busy in the craft room. I'm trying to get all my classes ready and out of the way before we go to Mexico at the end of April. So, yes, so many things happening and not enough hours in the day. Anyway, I'm going to quickly fussy cut these as well, and then I'll colour them. These ones are actually going to be coloured with blends. I do have a second card to show you, but with all this colouring and fussy cutting, I may have to come back to that another day. Hopefully, it's a nice quick one, so hopefully I will. But it uses the Biggest Wish and the textured chic. Okay, so just, as I say, nice, smooth leaves, a few little bits where the stalk comes out, but really not a problem when it comes to fussy cutting this cute little apple. There's the apple. And when you're fussy cutting, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I try to maintain, rather than going right up to the edge of the image, I try to keep a little white border as much as I can, just to be a little bit like what the die would look like when you die cut something. There's always a little border, and I find that that is a much more forgiving way to fussy cut, because you've got that little margin for error there. You know, if you're out a little micromillimetre with your white border, it doesn't really matter. But whereas if you're cutting right on the line, if you make a boo-boo, you can really tell. So yeah, that's me. Plus I sort of get used to that little white border around the edges of things when you fussy cut them, and it used to annoy me, but it doesn't anymore. I quite like it. Makes the images stand out a bit more. Always got to get rid of that excess there. A few things coming up. I still have my April Fun Fold class open if you'd like to jump on board with that. It's 3 cards, and this time I'm featuring trifolds and more. I think there's actually a 4-fold there, but yes, so 3 trifold cards, and you can, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see there's a choice. You can either have the Lotta Latte Designer Series paper version, or you can have the zinnias, flowering zinnias version. Okay, so I'm just blending using my dark Real Red blend just to give this one some shadow. And again, as with most of Stampin' Up's ink images, you can just follow the shape, follow the shading on the image if you're unsure where to put your shadows. This is the light one. I'm just going to blend that in. And the leaves, I'm going to use Old Olive. So again, the image shows you where the shadows should be. This is my dark Old Olive, I should say. And just a little bit of blending in with the light. Okay, I might just make that little stem, just a brown. I'm going to grab a random brown. I don't know what I've grabbed. Bronze, just to do that little stem. Okay, so that's our apple. And these little flowers, just quickly, I'm just going to use dark, what's this word? Bubble bath. And then this one is pretty much done. Well, we're going to put it together, but then there's not much to it after this. Okay, so the just plain black little black and white image that we stamped, I'm just going to glue that straight over our thanks. Like this. There we are. Then the apple, I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. And just pop that on top of our black and white, just so you can sort of see some of the black and white behind it, come out from behind it. Like so. And then our little flowers, they are pretty easy. I'm just going to bend them. I should get my little foam mat out. Just bend them up a bit in the centre so they're cupped, and then bend the ends of the petals down. So it's sort of like you can imagine they would be. And I'm going to glue one here, so it's slightly behind our little apple, and then the other two, again, make it into a little cup, and then bend the ends of the petals down. I'm going to pop that on a dimension. There. And the other one. Up the top as well. There we are. Isn't that just the cutest there? That's lovely. Okay, so I think we could probably do with some Wink of Stella. This is my addition here. Some Wink of Stella on our apple just to make it glisten. There we go. And it also deepens the colours, your Wink of Stella. It makes the colours more bright. And if I've got some iridescent gems, now I'm actually in deep mourning at the moment because my favourite, don't know if you heard that because I walked away from the mic. I'm in deep mourning at the moment because my favourite embellishments of all time, the iridescent rhinestone jewels, are actually retiring as well. So I'm going to have to find a new staple for embellishing. But the good news for everyone is, and I'm going to grab some myself, they are actually part of the sale, our last chance sale, and I think they come down to less than $10 a pack. So if you love the iridescent gems, the iridescent jewels like I do, grab a few to keep you going, and I know I definitely will. So even though they're retiring, I'm pretty sure they will make an appearance in classes going forward anyway. Definitely my fun fold class will probably still use them. Okay, so that is my thank you card there with our biggest wish and our apple harvest there. So hope you like that one. Obviously, I fussy cut those apples, but and it wasn't too much hassle. But you could just stamp them straight onto a layer and highlight them that way. But I quite like the way that colour in the middle there highlights that beautiful apple on the fairly plain background. Okay, so that is card number 1. How are we going for time? 20 minutes. Yep, got time. Let's do the second one. So the second card, I'm still going to feature the biggest wish, but what actually happens when a catalogue leaves, we lose some, just get rid of everything over here, we lose some in colours. So the old in colours are replaced by new in colours. And the in colours we're that are retiring this time are these 5, excuse me, like a mess. We've got our Starry Sky, Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party, Sweet Sorbet and Orchid Oasis. That's our 22, 24 in colours that will retire, and I've got that totally upside down. So that's the 5 that will retire. So this card, I'm going to use the biggest wish again, but I'm also going to use this interesting splodgy shape from the Seasons of Chic. And an admission to make, when I got this splodgy shape off the plastic acetate, it was the first time it had been on a block. I hadn't actually used it at all, so yes, talk about leaving things till the last minute. Anyway, so again, I'm just going to make the card, I might make the whole card for this one. I haven't got a card base here. We'll just grab my trimmer. And need some white. Forgive me, I need some white. So the card front I'm just going to cut it a wee bit bigger to start with, and then I'll trim it down to the size I want. Basically because I want to be able to fit all 5 of those colours into my splodge. So I'll leave it full half A4 size there, height. But I will chop it down. So we've got our splodge from our textured chic. I'm going to start with Sweet Sorbet at the top. I'm going to sort of make it in sort of rainbow colours. We haven't got all the colours of the rainbow, but close. I'm going to start with my red at the top, just as the centre and as high up as that. So I'll give that a clean off. Then I'll come in with my Parakeet Party. I've got to admit, wasn't a huge fan of these in colours, but they have grown on me as I go, especially the Starry Sky and the Sweet Sorbet. I will probably miss quite considerably. So then our Parakeet Party. With Lemon Lime Twist and Granny Apple Green in the basic colours. I didn't really use Parakeet Party all that much because it was sort of just a slightly different version of those. This is Tahitian Tide. Oh, I did use this one a bit too, I suppose. There we are. They were definitely bright. I do want to show you the new in colours, the ones that are going to be replacing these. They are amazing. They are wonderful. Where it's taken me a while to get to like these ones, I liked the new ones straight away as soon as I saw them. Hopefully you will too. That is our Orchid Oasis. It's more of a purple than a blue, that one. It's quite pretty. And our Starry Sky, which I love because it's blue. You guys know me. It's blue. And pop that one in there as well. So there you are. We have the 5 colours there just in our little splodge down the front of the card. There must have been something on that ink because it's got a little blank space all the way down. That's okay. Okay, so to finish this one off, and as I mentioned, I'm going to use the biggest wish again. I've got my happy and my birthday. I'm going to grab my black ink And just at the top here where the colours are lighter, so you'll be able to see the black on top, I'm just going to pop happy. And birthday. And look, this is the simplest card you could ever make, really, isn't it? Just stamps and paper, that's all it is. So that's our happy birthday. Now, I'll trim that down so that it fits my card base. I'm going to have the Starry Sky card base. So I want it to come down to, what do I want it to come down to? 3 7/8. I'll take a sliver off there, and then a sliver off there. And I want it to come down to 5 1/4. So what did I make it there? So it's got to come down 5 1/4. It's got to come down that much. So it's what, 2 1/2 and okay. So it's got to come down 1/2 and a bit, 1/4 and a bit, top and bottom. Is that right? Let's have a look. 1/4 and a bit, top and bottom. Now I might take a bit more off that end. There we are. So I'll just trim that down so that the gap at the bottom and the gap at the top are the same, and it's the same both sides. And now it will fit my card base, which I've got, as I say, my Starry Sky. I want to trim that down to my usual size. To glue that, so there we are, that's our finished design there. So quick, so easy. Nothing better than a good splodge. I mean that splodge there, the one I used, not a ink splodge, which are the bane of our lives, aren't they? There we go, pop that on there. Now, also retiring are the 22 to 24 2022 to 2024 in colour pearls. Probably wouldn't have actually gone for pearls with that design. I would have probably gone, if I hadn't been trying to highlight the in colours, I probably would have gone a enamel dot because it's a bit funkier. But we've got the pearls here that are retiring, and I have a feeling these are 50% off, so I think these go down to like about $6 or something like that. So if you like these, definitely grab those as well. I'm going to, because they're retiring and going to be cheap, I'm going to be a bit extravagant and use a few. I'm going to use 5, one of each colour. So the Sweet Sorbet, the Parakeet Party, then our Tahitian Tide, and then our, what have we got? Orchid Oasis, and our Starry Sky. I actually remembered all the names. There we go. So just following those colours down with some pearls just to highlight them as you go down. Okay, so that is my second card that I wanted to show you today. So how am I going? Oh, 29 minutes. That's not too bad for 2 cards, especially because I had to cut them. So that's our first one. So this one uses our retiring in colours and our retiring biggest wish. And our first card that we did, which I've lost completely, I threw it away. Here we go. Uses again the biggest wish and our gorgeous apple harvest stamp set there as well. So hopefully you like both of those. If you come back, check on the website, check on my online store from the 9th of April. These stamp sets will be reduced if they're on sale. I think the apple harvest definitely is. I'm not sure about the biggest wish. But anyway, if they're on sale, you'll see then from the 9th of April. And the discounts on these are quite considerable. You can get up to 60% on some items. If you check my Facebook page every day, I'm actually focusing on a product that is up to, at least 50% off. So yeah, I've featured a few already. So hopefully you like those. As I say, the next few weeks we're going to smatter my lives with some retiring products, just to remind you to get them before they are gone. But anyway, have a great day, and I will see you all again live during the week.